We will just get started here. We've got a lot of students to celebrate this month, so we're super excited about that. So we want to get this in before the end of the day. My name is Jennifer Ulix. I'm the Student Activities Director. Welcome to this is the November Student of the Month. It's a nice way, I know, it's October 31st. It's a nice way to celebrate everyone's Student of the Monthness for the month of November. On this very last day of October. So happy Halloween to all of you. And congratulations to the students that are in our audience today. What a great way to end October and to celebrate Halloween. You're going to find out in just a moment why you were selected as Student of the Month. And it's really cool to hear from the staff members that are in this room why you're being celebrated today. We don't really give our staff members or teachers or administrators criteria by which to choose the students. It's really up to those individuals to make the selection and tell us why they're recognizing that student. So it's truly unique for each individual that is being represented today as Student of the Month. Before we get started, I wanted to say some thank yous, extend some thank yous. First to Kelly Brogio, who's at the table over there. She coordinates some of the behind the scenes with RSVPs and our program today. Thanks, Kelly. Cat TV, who's filming today, they will provide you with a complimentary copy, a DVD copy of today's ceremony. So that will be sent home to you. You can forever now archive this special moment and look at this 10, 20 years from now, if you want to. And then, most importantly, I would like to thank Jack Greasy. He is our Student of the Month sponsor. He is the owner of Domino's Pizza in town, and he sends he sends all of our students home with a free large pizza certificate. So thank you, Jack, for that. And normally Jack is here presenting the awards with us, but believe it or not, this is the busiest day of the year for him. So he is here to bring the gifts to our students, but he's got to get back to make all of the pizzas that our trick-or-treaters are going to order tonight. So thank you, Jack, very much for your support. So with that, what's going to happen is we are going to ask the staff member to come up, and students, you are going to join that staff member. There is an X that is placed on the floor because we want to make sure that you stand on the X so that you are in the frame for Cat TV, and so that last month we had you over there and the frame was really awkward. So we're going to have you stand right here, and we're going to hear from each staff member as to why you were selected as Student of the Month. So Dr. Marina Scott is our principal. She is going to lead us in our presentation today.
Thank you. Happy Halloween. This was a lively group. You know how you have a lively class sometimes? This is a lively group. I could feel that as you were coming in. I don't know if it's just because it's Halloween or I guess we'll hear about why when we listen to the teachers' presentations today. We have a lot to get through, so I'm not going to say too much up here this afternoon, but what I do want to say is the awards are for all of you today, for the parents in the audience who send us such great students, for the students who have achieved such great things, and for the teachers who teach you and inspire you. So it's really a threefold award, and it's such an uplifting day. It's a great way to end a Friday, and I think you'll feel that when you leave here too. We're going to start with Miss Hubbard, and she's going to introduce Andy. So you get to do the first demo on the X here.
Okay, first I just, right on the X, that's good. First I just want to say that I'm dressed as my alter ego as a Harlem Globetrotter today for Halloween, so I don't usually dress like this, just for today. But this is Andy, and I nominated Andy because he basically does everything that I ask of him. He does his homework, he participates well in class, he asks great questions. When there's something he doesn't understand, he will ask a question and have me to clarify it. And all his hard work is really paying off, and he's doing well on quizzes and tests. He's got very high percentage overall in the class, and so I just wanted to recognize him for all his hard work that's really paying off, and I really appreciate it. He's just a great person to have in class. He's very friendly, he's very respectful. When he leaves class, he says, "Bye, have a great day. so he's just a great person as well, and so I just wanted to recognize him for that. So that's Andy.
You know, Andy, most students are nervous up here, but not you. Great start. Next, we have Mr. Duffy, and he's introducing Jake.
You hit your mark? I think I got it.
Good man.
I'm pretty
Good
sure.
man.
90%.
Outstanding. I want to introduce Jake Stuckerman, Stukes, Cheeks. I mean, he's got a million nicknames. Jake and I have had I've had the unique opportunity, unique pleasure. I don't know if it's been the same for him, but it's been a unique pleasure for me to have Jake in class in some form or fashion every year since he got here. Freshman year is in the World Honors class. Sophomore year, he took current issues with me. And then this year, he joined the mock trial team. And I coached the mock trial team, and he would pretty much be a perfect fit. And so he came out and joined. And I was just told that he's graduating early, so I'm only going to get him. This is my last year with Jake. I'm devastated. Don't go. But I'll try to recover. Jake is to say Jake is unique, has a unique personality and perspective on life, insults unique people. Jake is a great kid. He's really, don't tell him I said that. Oh, I'm so bad at this. He's a great kid. He's really funny. And to the point where you try not to encourage it in class because he kind of gets on a roll and then he gets some people around him on a roll and you're just like, okay, so let's talk about the Mesopotamians. The what up? Okay, settle down there, Sparky. So anyways, he's a lot of fun. He brings an enormous amount of energy to just about everything he does. Current issues class. I think your favorite thing, we talked morals and ethics in class, and he really got into it. We're talking about utilitarian theory and deontological ways of approaching life, and Kant and Hobbes and all this, and he was eating it up. And then he wanted to apply it, and he came out for the mock trial team, and he comes in on almost a morning basis to get some of my candy that I leave out for kids, and also to say hello and hang out, and it's really gratifying to see a young man that I've seen grow into a really self-possessed, confident young man. And, he's got the world in front of him, and for that reason, I nominated him to be Student of the Month. So, congratulations, Jake.
And Jake, what are your plans for your early, what are your plans for your early graduation?
I'm going to go to Bible college.
Great. I don't think Miss Lara is here yet in the audience, so we're going to skip one down and move to Miss Ward next, and she's going to introduce Eve.
Good job. Hi. The Special Resource Department is very, very pleased to recommend Eve as our Freshman Student of the Month for October. As some of you have probably experienced, the halls of Libertyville High School during passing period are noisy and frequently lack any semblance of order. Freshmen really experience a great deal of anxiety as they attempt to get from one class to another, particularly when you've got a class way down in the wood section and you have to come all the way back up into my department. Heightened academic demands also add to the increased stress level. Eve proactively prepared herself for her freshman year by coming to the high school and touring around a little bit, getting to know where all the rooms were, and she also practiced her combination lock skills, so that prepared her for getting to her locker and getting back to class very quickly. Eve, from the very beginning, committed herself to high academic standards, and she meets all of her deadlines. She accepted new academic challenges and always committed herself to excellence with such a really terrific can-do attitude. Eve particularly enjoys her 3D art class, and because she enjoys using her creative skills. She's always polite and contributes to LHS and the welfare of animals by belonging to the Safe Club. And so we're very, very happy to have her as Student of the Month, and congratulations, Steve, on her accomplishments. Okay.
And I always love that your whole cheering section comes from the back corner of that room. Next, we have Miss Tarrant, and she's going to introduce Brooke.
So Brooke and I kind of met under unique circumstances because I was on maternity leave for a good portion of the beginning of last year when I had her as a student. But when I came back, my maternity leave sub was raving about a lesson that she did in the preschool program. Okay. Had her then the next semester for infant, and she really kind of blossomed in there, and I was able to see her personality more and get to know her a little bit better. And she ended up competing in FCCLA in the child development area. And as a sophomore, she ended up competing on her own when most people choose to work with a partner. And I was super impressed by that, and she did really well in her competition. Now this year she's taking extended study for preschool, and Brooke comes into our class. We have the preschoolers there now, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds come in. She comes in on her lunch periods and works with the little kids when she's not required to. On days that she's not in the school working off campus, she's in my room helping out however she can. You know, Miss Tarrant, what can I do? Do you want me to read a book today to the kids? Very impromptu, but just has continually impressed me, and I can't wait to see in the following year even what we can do together. So that's why I've nominated Brooke as Student of the Month.
Brooke, the highlight of my day today was seeing the trick-or-treaters. It was an energy-filled day, I bet. Do you plan a career in working with small children? Yeah. Sounds like it. Next, we have Mr. Dawson, and he's going to introduce Hannah.
So I was able to select a Student of the Month this year. It's an honor to be able to actually select these kids. We have so many great kids at the school, and in the bigger departments, it doesn't come around all that often that you get to pick a Student of the Month necessarily. So whenever I get the opportunity, I think it's great to be able to pick out. I know that there's some angst for teachers picking because it's puts you in a little bit of an awkward situation when you have so many great kids. How do you pick one and say, of all these great kids, you're the greatest kid, right? And I know it's sometimes hard for the student. Hannah and I were both leaving class. We were leaving the same class. And when she left, I assumed that she'd already told all the other kids in the class where we were going. But I was waiting for someone to take over for me and to run the class. And so when I was leaving, the kids were like, where are you going? You're leaving too? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to Student of the Month. Like, well, who did you nominate? You know? So, sort of had to spill the beans. So, the reason that I picked Hannah, it's going to be the same kind of thing that I'm sure a lot of the other teachers are talking about. When you have lots of great kids like we have at this school, it's usually the kids that are getting the maximum out of their opportunities. That's what I think about when I'm thinking about Hannah. She's very talented, she's very committed, she's very organized. But the one thing that I would say, if I was describing her to someone else, is you know that she's going to maximize her potential. She comes in, she works on stuff, and she doesn't only come in when she's gotten behind. She's a very proactive type of person. She works ahead, stays with her deadlines, looks at things and says, how is this going to work out tomorrow? Comes in and gets help so that it's not like, walk in, I didn't understand this, can I get an extension? Can give me some kind of special consideration? It's not like that at all. She's totally in control of, hey, this is my goal, I want to achieve it, and what are all the steps that I can do to get there? And it's really impressive for someone, a young person with talent, to also be that committed to maximizing their potential. I really love that. She's a great influence on the class. Obviously, you're going to hear that from a lot of these other teachers too. She sets an example, not necessarily by always being the smartest, being the brightest, being the one that takes over, but just by being there with a good attitude, doing everything she can. If she needs help, she gets help. If she can offer help, she gives help. It's the kind of thing you'd hope all your students were doing all the time. And I always choke up in these two. So what I choke up about is always, because I have 3 of my own kids, so when I see this potential in kids that I work with, I'm always hoping this is what my kids are doing. So I'm proud. I'm obviously not her parent, but I'm proud, like a parent, because I get to work with her. And like some of the rest of you that have talked about this is the second year I've got to work with her. So it's really great that I had this chance to honor her and come in here with all the other great kids and faculty. And this is a good honor for you, Hannah. Oh, thank you.
Mr. Dawson, you mentioned her being in control in so many aspects of your class. She is in control on that volleyball court, too. Let me tell you that. I got to witness that yesterday. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Gluskin, and he's introducing Emily.
Good work. So I have Emma as a student in my AP English Language and Composition class. Her work really stood out to me from the very beginning of the year, both her writing and just her passion for reading, which is something we talked about within the first few weeks of the year. One of the things toward the beginning of the year that I did with the students was just introduce a new rhetorical device to them, and she immediately put it to use correctly, which is of course important, in an email to me. And the device is called polysyndeton, and I'm sure you're all aware of this, but for the few of you who aren't, it's when you use a lot of conjunctions often, and you usually do it to bring emphasis to whatever subject you happen to be talking about. So let me give you a few examples of that. Emma's a strong writer, and has a great attitude, and is a diligent student, and is fiercely independent. One other example. Through her work so far in the course, Emma has proved she is a talented, well-rounded English student, no matter if the assignment is an in-class essay, or multiple choice questions following a reading, or an out-of-class narrative assignment, or a nonfiction book club assignment. So for all these reasons and everything that everyone else has been saying, Emma's very deserving as a Student of the Month.
That's what we're looking for, application in real life situations, right? Shoot it back in that email. Next we have Mrs. Getch is here for Mrs. Rubin, and she'll be introducing Hillary.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Getch. I'm the Department Supervisor for International Languages, and Miss Rubin wasn't able to be here today, so she asked me to read what she wrote about Hillary, so you would know how special she is to her. This is the third year that I've had the pleasure of teaching Hillary, and I'm so excited to have this opportunity to honor her for her unrelenting hard work, dedication, and her effort in Latin studies. Hillary is an exceptional student in so many ways. She is diligent, responsible, eager to learn, whether we are discussing the emperors of Rome or yet another use of the subjunctive. Hillary might be the only student I have who never tries to text during class and never complains about notes or homework. Hillary has always been a student who tries her very best and seeks to understand things for the sake of learning rather than just for a grade. She is honest, respectful, patient, kind, and compassionate, and she always laughs at my jokes, even if they aren't really all that funny. Finally, Hillary is one of those students who follows her excitement for learning Latin beyond the classroom. She has been a dedicated member of LHS's Latin Club, serving as scripter last year and Octor this year. It is my pleasure to honor her dedication and passion for Latin and ancient Rome with this award. Miss Rubin. Congratulations.
It's so interesting to hear so many teachers have had students multiple times. How lucky you are. Next we have Mr. Brown, and he's going to introduce Kate.
Come on. Well, Pete, unlike you, or unlike those of you that are big departments, there's some of us that come and get to do this a lot. And it's a pleasure. What a treat it is to get to be here and talk about these delightful children. And it's so great to see multiple ones of them in here right now that I have in my class. There's 4 of you, well, 3 besides Kate, who are in choir, so yay. I have the pleasure of having kids multiple years. It's just if kids sign up for choir and they like it, then they will stay. And sometimes freshman year all the way till they graduate. And it's a wonderful thing to get to watch them grow up. Kate joined sophomore year, so she's been in for a year and a half. And I think one of the reasons why I nominated her this year is because she really surprised me this year. When kids come in, sometimes I really don't ever get to hear them sing by themselves for a lot of reasons. They're nervous. They don't want to. This scary Dr. Brown, I can't sing by you. You're going to make me mess up or whatever. So I never really had the opportunity to hear Kate sing by herself. It was always in a group, multiple people or in the large choir. She was in the musical last year. She's in the musical this year. So she's been involved in doing all these things. But I'd never gotten to hear her actual voice until about a month ago. And we're trying out. I just asked students, who wants to try out for IMEA auditions? You learn some music outside of class, and we go to these auditions, and you sing for judges, and they'll give you a score, and if you score high enough, you can be in this choir. So Kay's like, "Ooh, I want to try that." So we're working in my office with a couple. I don't know, there's one other person. Was it Emily, Libby? And I'm listening. My piano in my office faces the wall, so they're behind me, and I'm listening, going, who? Because it was really good. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I'd never heard Kate sing by herself. It's not, and I was like, oh my gosh, Kate, your voice is gorgeous. And this happens, it happens a lot. I mean, it just happens a lot because kids don't want to sing in front of me. They get nervous. Well, long story short, Kate made the choir. She's one of 11 students from LHS that made it out of 28. And she's going to get to go next Saturday and perform. And she's in Spamalot next Saturday, which you should come see next weekend. But beside all of that and all of the silliness, Kate's one of those types of students that you want to have in your class. She's always happy, always smiling, always energetic and positive. I don't know if the girl has a negative bone in her body. And that's the kind of energy that in my class, if you don't have, it's really hard to get productive things done, especially with a group as energetic as the junior class is, wouldn't you say? It's a very energetic class. Oh my gosh, in general. So when it came time, and I didn't have the option, but we all talk about it in music, and I said, I want to nominate Kate just because she got that honor and she made the choir and she was involved in the musical and those things. And we're really glad to have you as part of the Fine Arts Department, Kate, and really happy that we could give you this honor today. You bet.
And Kate, I had to tell you, I felt your positive energy in this room too. I looked over and in this sea of people, her smile just I was immediately drawn to. So I'm sure you do that for a lot of other people too. And I couldn't help but notice with her colorful outfit that Miss Lara came back into the room. So we're going to go back for Stephanie. So Stephanie can come up here with Miss
Lara. These are not my glasses. I've been wearing fake cat eyes all day because I'm being a 50s housewife. So I'm not going to read this because I can't read it. Oh, people. Here we are. I nominated Stephanie and you won. And I've been nominated somebody for a while because I have a lot of great students. You know, I teach really, really great students. But I was really inspired to nominate Steph because I'd known her for a couple of years. She's been a friend of my daughter's and a teammate of my daughter's since they've been freshmen. So I've gotten to see her, you know, just as a friend and as an athlete. And this year I get to see her as a student, and she really is impressive. And so I felt the need to nominate her, and I'm so glad that she was picked. The class she takes is an honors level United States history class, which already shows you the kind of student she is. Rather than take a required class at the regular level, she challenges herself and does it at a really rigorous level. I assign them lots of reading, and her notes are perfect, and she scores really high on quizzes. And whenever I let the kids do like a group retake, they always ask Steph what she put because that's what they're going to put. So I just wanted to acknowledge you and congratulate your mom and dad on raising such a beautiful girl and a fantastic student. And yay, Steph.
Even if you can't see, we
Am I the only teacher in a costume?
Thank you. And we have next Mr. Farrell, who's introducing, is it Mr. Farrell or Mr. Mortalara? Are you guys going to do it together? Okay. Okay, introducing James. I'm sorry, introducing Taylor. Yeah. I'm out of order here, sorry. People would have figured out you weren't James, right?
Yeah. James Taylor. No, Taylor Sloan. All right, we got it. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. You know, I love Student of the Month. I always love coming here because it contradicts one of my pet peeves. It always bothers me when I hear people say, oh, kids these days, they're not like they used to be. And I've been teaching for 24 years, long time. And they never do this, or they always do this. And this is really a great day that really contradicts that. I think our times are different these days. The things that kids are exposed to, the dynamics are different today than they were when I started teaching 24 years ago, but I think kids are the same. And we have an awesome school where you can see that kids every day contradict that. We have kids in this building that do great things every single day. It's a great place to be. And I am proud to introduce Taylor because she is definitely one of those kids that does that. When I asked our team, I said, team, we need to nominate someone for Student of the Month. And I'm Taylor's dean, so I see Taylor every day. And we are at a team meeting, and they said, Taylor Sloan. It was overwhelming. We're going to pick Taylor. And I said, that's awesome. Tell me the why when I stand up there. I know it, but I want to hear it from you. They said, because she is so dependable. She's here every day. She's our pass runner in our office, and she's been doing that for 2 years now, right, Taylor? For 2 years, every day, we have the privilege of seeing her every day. And Taylor, to me, epitomizes that it's not our words, but it's our example that really influences other people. She has become such a good influence to the other kids in there. She truly leads by example, and that example influences others. Mr. Mortellaro stole a little quote here from one of my favorite authors, John Maxwell. A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And Taylor, that is definitely you. Besides being a great pass runner for us, I'm going to tell you some of the other things she does. And I'm going to use some polysyndetons, or what are those things? Huh?
You should get an award just for saying it.
Yeah, I taught English for 14 years. You got that. I'm not as dumb as you think I is. All right? So I'm going to lay it on you right now, baby. Okay? She's in the slant of light. And she's on GSA. And she's in Erica's Lighthouse. And this is the coolest. For 3 years, she's on the bowling team. Are you kidding me? If I knew there was bowling when I was in high school, I would have been on that team in an instant. I'm telling you, right now. She's a varsity member of the bowling team, too. And Taylor, and last but not least, if we had a nicest kids in the school board, you would be on that board, too. Okay? So congratulations, all righty? Yeah. How's that, my fellow English teachers? Welcome.
Next, we have Miss Aman, and she's going to introduce James. No? Oh, he's not here. He's on a field trip. Okay. Okay, Mr. Thompson with Mackenzie. Will that work?
I didn't realize when I came here I was going to have a class. I learned polysyndetone. I learned that Mr. Farrell's been teaching for a really long time. And a bunch of other stuff, and this is great. And also, I've learned what a great group of kids we have at this high school. And Mackenzie is not one of them. Is one of them. And the reason why I nominated Mackenzie was because of she's very difficult in my class. And the reason why I say that is because she finished this project so fast that I have to find her more things to do. And she's always coming up and saying, Mr. Thompson, can I do another one? And I'm like, yeah, please. and so then we've got to print things out. I mean, she came today and said she had finished she's in the graphic arts class, and she finished both of her cup holders, what are they called? No, not the koozies, the other thing. Coasters, thank you, that's the word. Polysyndetone, I'm gonna be saying that next week all day. But she finished her coasters, already done. She said, can I make a third one? I'm like, sure, go ahead. Then today she comes and says, can I make my koozie? I want to really give it to my sister today. And I'm like, okay, we're not ready to do that, but sure, we'll do that already. So that's next week's assignment, but okay. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to have her do next week. Maybe she'll make. So it's great because she always wants to do more things, and she does a great job with them too. And I'm thinking about maybe not next week, but the week after I'll have her teach the class. And but these are it's just great to have her in class, and actually her name was the first name I learned because it happens to be the same name as my niece, so it made it real easy to remember names. So, but I've been had a pleasure teaching her. I've enjoyed having her in class. She's always happy and smiles. She's not, some people said they're real talkative, and she's not real talkative. She sits there, does her work, gets it done, and then wants more work. And that's a great skill to have as you continue in your future education. So that's why I nominated Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, way to keep Mr. Thompson on his toes. Keep him working hard. We have Mr. Hieronymus next, and he's introducing Dolores.
Do I get the rest of the time? I'm a little verbose. All right, I'll try to make, well, who am I kidding? You know, with my arm the way it is, I get a lot of sympathetic looks in the hallways. But what I try to do is follow Monty Python's advice and always look at the bright side of life. Oh, 2 people got that joke. All right, seriously, go to the musical. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, what I mean by look at the bright side of life, because of this, I got to stand back by the chicken wings as an excuse. I have a place to put my arm during the pictures, and finally, I really found out how terrific my students are. I mean, I already knew it. I mean, I wrote my subs notes when I left, and I had 3 different subs because I missed 5 days, and they couldn't find one person to do them all. And I wrote them all like these long, obsessive emails about how my classes are awesome. I mean, they're terrific. And I mean, I teach so many of the students who are in here. I mean, I seriously wrote these notes. Like, they are unbelievable. You're going to love them. And it was all confirmed coming back from all 3 subs. Like, one literally was gushing when she saw me when I returned. She's like, your classes are unbelievable. She's like, man, they must be so scared of you. I'm like, no, they're actually really that way. They are terrific. And so when it came time for Student of the Month, it is a tough decision. I mean, sometimes you do sit there and say, I hate singling someone out, because sure enough, I left the 8th hour, and there's several students in here in my 8th hour class, and then 5th and 2nd and X students. I mean, sometimes that is a hard decision. I'm like Mr. Dawson too, though. Like, you try to look at, I have a freshman son now. And I sit there, okay, who do I want my kid to be with, or be like? And sure enough, this year, so many of these students, when they leave, they thank me. That started just a year or 2, and I see a couple of teachers nodding. I mean, so many students now that, kids may not be the same. Maybe they're getting better. Because, I mean, I haven't taught as long as Mr. Farrell, obviously, but I've taught a long time, and I just don't remember that. But so they're thanking me all the time. But one student that really stood out to me, I'm like, all right, this is the one I'm going with, is Dolores. And here's why I initially chose her. Was because when I talk, I feel her presence in the room. You know that she's there not because she's talking or disrupting, but because she's listening and understanding and nodding when appropriate. And when she doesn't understand, I'm probably mumbling or something because she's pretty smart, but she raises her hand and she's so engaged. And, if there's something she couldn't quite see on the screen, she just doesn't, she moves, and she's really engaged in class, and she's so motivated to do well. And like Mr. Dawson, I would love for my 3 kids, I'd love for one of them to end up like Dolores. I mean, that'd be terrific. That would just be, yeah. 1 out of 3 ain't bad, right? It's meatloaf, but no. That's 2 out of 3. But anyway, but this week it was really confirmed as to what an awesome choice Dolores was. The Libertyville family had a loss last week, and it was someone who I didn't even teach. But I've lost enough students over the years, and ex-students, that when one of ours goes down, you get choked up and you feel it. And sure enough, it was a student that one of our coworkers had posted this funny picture on Student Ditch Day, 'cause he's the one student that was there. And once I saw that, my heart just dropped. And we felt the loss this week. And Dolores, as the leader in the school, as one of the members of the student board, really took a very proactive role in helping the kids and understand and helping teachers. And that's a part of it too. And I really felt so good about my choice this week in terms of, Dolores and her handling of that. So that's why I chose Dolores Palmieri. Because now I have something to do with my one more. I think I was. Oh, I'm sorry.
I want want to thank Dolores because this morning I had a short announcement to give, and usually the student council officers do the announcements. And so I told Cam, and he misunderstood me. He thought I was going to do all the announcements. I turned around, and he was gone. I'm like, oh, my gosh, what am I going to do? I looked out in the hall and just saw Dolores. She's like, sure, I'll do it, Dr. Scott. So thank you. You saved my day today. Now, we have one student who is on a field trip, so he couldn't be here. Normally, I would push it off to next week, but I look at Joyce, and I don't know if she'll be, or next month. I don't know that she'll be here next month. So and you'll know why when you see her come up here. So we're going to have you talk about your student, and it's James, and then we'll send him the DVD, okay? Thank you.
Very good. That was good. All right. My student of the month is James, and I nominated him out of my CrossFit class, and that's an elective class, so he chooses to take it. It's one of our more advanced classes. Based on James's schedule, which includes classes such as AP Chemistry, AP English Language and Composition, AP US History, Pre-Calculus Honors, and French 5 Honors, he kind of enjoys the more advanced classes. With that schedule, I feel that he could complain about quite a bit of things. Homework, tough tests, tough weekends, long nights. There's probably quite the list, and I've never heard anything negative ever come out of his mouth. And in PE, I don't know if you guys don't know, but it's not included on your GPA. So one of the issues we have with the kids is really trying to find that intrinsic motivation because they're not motivated by an A, B, C, or D. It's more or less kind of a pass-fail thing. He is as motivated as it gets. I always say that he has the best workout faces. And what I mean by that is, like, you just need to look at him for, like, 10 seconds, and you know that he is giving it his all. Like, eyes are closed, like, nose is scrunched up, face is red, dripping sweat. Like, at any point, he is pushing himself to just be on his limits, trying something new. And he's so positive about it. Like, he could be just exhausted after a workout, and he's laying on the ground like, that rocked. That was awesome. He's high-fiving everyone. He's very contagious. He's the first to say hello in the hall, just those little small things that you guys were talking about with students. The first to stay after class and be late to his next to help with equipment. It's all those little things that often go unnoticed that really, really stand out with James. So that is why he is my student of the month.
Yeah, sorry I missed him this morning. Oh, yes, of course. To thank everybody one last time for coming. And I want to say, Sean, I'm going to save you here because I've been teaching, actually, I know hard to believe, but a little bit longer than you. And I'm going to say kids have changed, but if you compare any of these kids in this room to us, they rock, don't they? Yes, they blow us away. So thank you for all you give to all your classes. I'm going to ask you all to come forward one more time so we can have a group picture, okay? And parents, you can take the opportunity to take a picture here too.